playing through the newly released Teal Mask expansion for Pokémon Scarlet and Violet reminded me of an issue I have had with the Pokémon games for a while. An issue that is worse and more apparent in expansions like this one. While I have been aware of this problem for a long time now, I have never made a video on it. Not sure why. Maybe it just never struck me as a good topic to make a video on. However, it finally clicked. At last I realized that this is something worth discussing. So, let's get to it. The Pokémon games are targeted at kids. This is an undeniable truth. While a lot of adults, myself included, still play and enjoy them, we are not the intended audience. And this is perhaps best exemplified in one key area, which is also the subject of this video: difficulty. The Pokémon games are, for the most part, extremely easy, meaning that experienced players can cruise through them without breaking a sweat. Now yes, there are some exceptions. For example, Cynthia in the Generation 4 games is noteworthy for being a particularly tough opponent. And the game battle facilities like the Battle Tower can also pose a formidable challenge. However, for the most part, and certainly in most of their main stories, Pokémon games are just way too easy, which robs them of the thrill and excitement of overcoming overwhelming odds. Games are just not as enjoyable when you can power through them without much thought, work, or effort. At least I think so, and I am sure that many others do as well. Now of course, this is only a problem for veterans like me, guide-savvy players that make sure to plan out their playthroughs, and extremely skilled individuals that just grasp things quickly. Newcomers to the series, inexperienced players, those that refuse to look at guides, most kids, and the people that just want to have fun playing and enjoying a game without having to bang their heads against the wall, are obviously not going to mind low difficulty, which is perfectly fine. I am certainly not advocating for everyone to crave extremely difficult games, but there should be a way for those of us that do to get exactly what we want. Now, before I get to the ultimate solution to this problem, I just want to take a moment to really dive into why difficult games are so amazing. After all, some of you watching right now might be scratching your heads wondering why I am praising games that often make me want to throw my controller across the room. Games are meant to be fun, right? So how can a game that frustrates you be fun? Well, think of games like Bloodborne, Sekiro, and Dark Souls. High difficulty is their trademark, and yet a lot of people, myself included, absolutely love these games. Why is this the case? It's quite simple, really. Nothing beats the sheer joy and the exhilaration you feel when you finally bring down that one boss that kept handing you your rear for hours and hours. Extremely difficult games make us push past our limits. They force us to think and strategize. They drive us to practice and train in order to become better players. They motivate us to play differently, to try different approaches. They appeal to our refusal to accept defeat, which feeds our determination and willpower, which forces us to try and try and try until we finally succeed. And when we do, oh boy, that feeling, that sense of accomplishment is truly something magical. And not just because you won, but also because everything you did, all the work, time, and effort you invested, all of it paid off wonderfully. They meant something in the end, and they will continue to serve you well for the rest of the game and in other games as well. These moments of spectacular triumph in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds after hours of often exhausting preparation and build-up are some of the best and most unforgettable moments in all of gaming, and only intense difficulty can provide such greatness. Okay, so let's get back to the Pokemon games now. Like I said earlier, they are, for the most part, way too easy, which robs them of all the things I described in the previous section, which makes them ultimately be not as thrilling or as rewarding to play through as they could be. This is just awful in my opinion. I almost never have to change my team, or switch Pokemon in battle, or battle wild Pokemon in order to level up my Pokemon, nor do I need to teach them new moves or come up with strategies that can net me the win. Instead, I just power my way through pretty much everything the game throws at me, which is just so boring. And this is, like I stated earlier, even worse in expansions, since they are often released months after the full game. Meaning that we have had months in the endgame catching, breeding, and racing top tier Pokemon that will have absolutely no trouble getting through expansions that don't even throw level 100 Pokemon at you. Like, take the Teal Mask for example. I go into it with 6 level 100 fully evolved Pokemon with max EVs and IVs, with items and competitive movesets. These are Pokemon that are built for the most exacting challenges in the game. And the first trainer battle in the expansion is against someone with only 3 Pokemon around level 60. Some of which are unevolved. Like what? Are you kidding me? Obviously I am going to steamroll through this without issues. It's honestly baffling how much of a joke this is. And please, don't think I am trashing the game or mocking anyone that does find this challenging. All I am saying is that this is just ridiculous, especially when you consider that when most other games give you an expansion, said expansion is tuned to be more challenging than anything in the base game, which is how it should be. This is how you keep things interesting and engaging beyond just giving us new things to do, use, and see. Also, expansions are just the most aggravating example of the problem. The base games feature the same problem. It's very rare to have a gym leader, Elite Four member, champion, or legendary Pokemon that will send you to the Pokemon Center repeatedly, which is a huge shame. We desperately need more Cynthias. So after all this discussion, what's the solution? How can Pokemon games solve their difficult problem? Well, it's actually quite easy. They just have to implement something that games have had for years: a difficulty setting, which allows us to tailor the experience to our liking. You want the games to be as easy as they currently are? You got it. You want them to be Dark Souls level difficult? You got it. You want them to be somewhere in the middle? You got it. This way, everyone is happy. Those that crave a challenge like me can get exactly what they want. And those that like the way the games are now can keep things as they are. No one is alienated. No one is forced to play in a way that they don't like. We all get precisely the game we want. This is the best solution, because if you push the needle too far in either direction, you will surely end up pushing away at least one part of the player base, which is not good for anyone or anything involved. And not only is it an easy solution and one that would please everyone, but it's also not even a foreign thing for the series, since Black and White 2 had a challenge mode, which made them more difficult. Sadly, challenge mode never returned in any future game, and nothing like it has ever been implemented. I think it's about time that the Pokemon games get with the times. Difficulty settings are a staple of games. They have been for a while, and the Pokemon games must embrace them sooner rather than later, so that they can please everyone that loves them. But yeah, that's everything I have for you in this video. Now, adding difficulty settings is not really a priority right now. It is definitely necessary to add them at some point, and they will undoubtedly improve the games, but there are more important things right now, like making sure the games don't run like, excuse my language, shit, and that they look like modern games. Once these things are taken care of, then we can talk about difficulty. And man, will it be awesome when we finally get to this point. Please let me know what you think about what I discussed in this video in the comment section down below. I am very much interested in knowing if I am the only one that feels that the Pokemon games are too easy and wishes they were more difficult. Actually, I know I am not alone, since Nuzlocke playthroughs exist and are popular for a reason. Still, I want to hear what other people think, so please let me know. But that's the video. As always, leave your own thoughts down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and would like to see more like it, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I love Pokemon and I love making videos on both the anime and the games. Also, please consider clicking the links on screen so that you can check out more videos like this one right away. Additionally, down in the description, I have affiliate links for GameStop, which is where I buy all my gaming related stuff, affiliate links for Amazon, which is where I buy all my stuff that is not gaming related or groceries, and a link to my Buy Me a Coffee page. These links will all allow you to support me directly if you would like to. I would very much appreciate it. Also, I have a link to my second channel, where I cover Resident Evil. If this is something that would interest you, then please check said channel out. Thank you so very much for watching, and let's meet again in the next video.